Hey, good morning. We're celebrating Fuzzy Turns 8. Hi, I'm Cadence Kidwell, proprietress at Fuzzy Goat in downtown Thomasville, Georgia, and we are celebrating our 8th year. Um, really due to all of you watching, supporting us. I can't imagine that what this would feel like, and it's beyond my wildest dreams. And what I am wearing today, I often save this for later, but what I'm wearing today is the Carissa Browning's Wonder Woman shawl, Woman wrap, and she has a crochet version also made out of copper corgi, which I will talk about in just a moment. So I do kind of feel a little bit like a Wonder Woman, having survived a pandemic, built a small business, but I say all that with the greatest humility and thoughts for all of you that made this possible, and all the other small businesses that we're able to support, and the good that we're able to do with our resources by sharing them with others. And so we're just very grateful today. We are hosting Sarah DeRue of Copper Corgi. I will be able to show you her yarns in a later video because they just arrived, so we don't have them up online or anything like that. So we want to make sure that when you see them, you can buy them if you like them. So just stay tuned for that. But the things that we do have already are several Copper Corgi items, and specifically I'm going to show you our custom colors because that's a big reason why Sarah is with us today. She has been dyeing yarns for us from the very beginning and was our first custom color, and I remember oh so well going into a store in Macon that isn't around anymore while I was doing my research and thinking about what kind of store I wanted to have. It's an amazing store, had tons of yarn, and it had a custom color from Copper Corgi, and I thought, custom color one day. So we have several, but our very best favorite and the yarn we've sold the most of ever is Westjack Kid. This is it in our Westjack Queen kit with some trim on the end. My daughter Carolina knit this up a little bit ago. We've been selling it in kits, and if you want to do the yarn, Melissa has made a sweater out of this. I believe it might be the lounging top out of this. And so lots of you guys have bought this yarn. So why do we call it Westjack Kid? We're on West Jackson Street. That's the street we're on. So I shorten it sometimes and call it Westjack. Goats are kids, baby goats. My last name is Kidwell, and I just love that it kind of sounds outlaw, like Westjack Kid. So it's got little rusty bits in it. We just love, love, love this color. Can't get enough of it. So we have it in Savannah Sock. It's actually at the link that I was thoughtful enough to put up in the description for this video already. So you can find Westjack Kid Savannah Sock. This has an amazing amount of yardage, 490 yards, 100% superwash merino. It still makes great socks because it has a really good twist. See, if I get up close to it, you can see it has a really great tight twist on there. So this is one of our personal favorites, the Westjack on Savannah Sock. Then Sarah made Glitzy. So just the right amount of coppery glitz in there. It works really well. With Copper Corgi, Westjack Kid, and this is 88% superwash merino, 8% Lurex polyester, which is the little sparkly bits, and 4% nylon to hold it all together. And for a glitzy, this also has amazing yardage. It has 480 yards. So we have that in our custom color. And we've got one more that we're debuting to share with you all today, which is the Shoreline Silk. If you guys were lucky enough to be in our Fuzzy Fix series this year, you got some Shoreline Silk, which is the newest based for Sarah. And in the pop-up, we will have lots and lots of other colors, and so we'll be sharing those with you later. But if you can come in, you can see them now. 450 yards. This is 100% silk, and it's that rustic silk. It just makes beautiful pieces. We've got a pattern link in there to Gossamer, which is just lovely in this Shoreline Silk. Just feels really great, but it's not a slippery kind of silk, so it is enjoyable to work with. And you know how I feel about silk bases, just nice and lightweight for this area. in here. Marsha's knitting with the Shoreline Silk right now, and she says it feels wonderful on the hand because, yes, she was in the Fuzzy Fix. And so the rest of you guys, if you want to top off your Fuzzy Fix and make some more, or if those of you that didn't get it want to get in on it, we have those. So those are the 4 pieces that we have right now that you can get a hold of. And so we will have more linked up later in a few days. I did a little bit of traveling this week to meet up with my Good Vibes girls, Sarah and Janet. So we went to New Orleans, which was so much fun. We planned Good Vibes constantly, even though we were eating and walking, and it was just great. Amazing weather. And so that also meant lots of knitting time because, you know, you're with your people and you can sit and knit in the restaurants. I was knitting in the car on the way over while Mr. Fuzzy Goat drove, and I have made great progress on my Ela, in Woolstock worsted. Next week I will be able to show it to you finished, but I want to show you how this works out here. Let's see, we've got a question here from Darla. Yes, you could use this Shoreline Silk in this for the Wonder Woman wrap. Absolutely, be really fun. Okay, the Ela sweater. So this is one of my tricks that Melissa said I taught her. Once you get into the sleeves of things, it can be kind of cumbersome, especially this sweater is a worsted. So it gets a little cumbersome. So I just kind of wad it up, and in this case, because it's a worsted and it's lofty, I feel fine sticking a double pointed needle through it. But sometimes I have tied tied up the body or tied a sleeve around the body, so it's just kind of like a big wad, and it makes it so much easier for me to work my sleeve. But I'm going to undo it so I can show you. I cannot wait to block this so that I can block out the lace in it here. But here's my cardigan, right? And I've already got one sleeve, which is all kind of misshapen. The power of blocking. I cannot wait to block and even this out. And I may be wearing this next Saturday, even if it isn't quite sweater weather here, but we are pretending really hard that it's sweater weather. It starts out great like that in the morning, and then it's like in the 80s. And also, I've been using my placeholder, and it has been working really great. So I'm right now here in a section where I'm doing repeats, and it just kind of stays on there. But I could slide it if I needed to. I'm not going to slide it too much because I'm not going to remember where I was. And I've also got my row counter hooked on here as I'm doing my repeats. So really great. Well, thank you, Marcia, for commenting on that tip. I love it when I have a tip that Melissa doesn't have yet. So that's always fun. But you know, that's not the only sweater or project I got working on. I'm also working on Up All Night, which I don't have with me right now to show you, and I'm working on that in a copper corgi yarn. But the one that's really getting me excited also is my Descent cardigan. Okay. Oh boy, this was something to be thinking about. Here is the pullover in the fingering weight. I want to make mine in a fingering weight. Andrea Rangel has a hack on how to make it into a cardigan, because I do want to make a cardigan. She has a cardigan pattern, but it's the worsted. And I wanted to make a fingering weight sweater. So I had Mr. Fuzzy Goat, while we were driving over to New Orleans, he's talking to me. I'm like, I'm studying, I'm counting, because, man, did I feel smart. I had to go back and forth between, like, what notes you do here means what you do over here. It was a lot of work, but super empowering, really fun, because I don't know if you've caught on yet what this means by doing this in the round as a pullover. Means I'm going to cut it. I'm going to steek it. I have taken a class from a yarn shop that was in Tallahassee, Yarn Therapy, long before I had my store. And I took a steeking class. It was a fabulous class. I loved it. Marianne had really great classes. I was not, it was a collar, so it was short. It wasn't an entire sweater. But, you know, I'm nowhere near the cutting part yet. But what it means is I'm going to have a panel that I can show you, which as it gets longer, I'll have a panel that goes through here of 5 extra stitches which is what's going to get cut in there. And don't worry, I'm bringing you along for every bit of this ride. So right now I have a ton of stitch markers. I'm showing you that too because sometimes I hear from people like, oh, I don't really need them. And you may not, but you know, no matter how many sweaters I use, I'm using stitch markers in between all my little sections on my sweater here. And I am using highlighter tape, mostly because my placeholder is over there on that pattern. But once I finish that, I'll probably bring it over and use it on here. So I've got my highlighter tape, and I'm moving it up, so I'm right in here in this little section. This pattern is really great. She has dark main color, so if your background is dark, but your color work is light, she has a chart for that. And then she also has it if you're doing it in the opposite, which is super cool and helpful. It's really the same chart, but this way your eye doesn't get all confused. So I really appreciate that. In addition to that, I'm using, because my gauge is different when I knit Continental, I'm using a 1. It's really small, especially compared to my worsted sweater over there. So we got new little stitch stoppers. I'm going to show them to you in just a second. New little stitch stoppers. Because these are a 1, if I just put 1 on there, it's too loose and it just slides all around. But I can fit both points together into there and it sticks. Because I am not going to put, it took me so long to get this set up and going in the right direction with my stitch markers and my different row count and short rows and all that. I do not want to have to start over with that. But I will if I have to. Wouldn't be the first time. So let me show you the stitch markers. We got such cute ones in here like that. Oh, Peggy says it's no problem with wool yarn. She's never done it with superwash. Right, because it's not, it won't, I can't felt it in there or anything. So we're going to have a lot of challenges here. And Virginia's saying the sound is fading in and out. Sometimes that happens on the live, but the replay usually seems to straighten it out. Not really sure. Highlighter tape. I love highlighter tape. We have this in our online shop too. I'm not going to peel it up because I won't remember where I am, but you peel it and I can move it up. I can usually move it for a whole pattern, and one little piece lasts a really long time. And Elaine taught me the trick of folding over one little edge of it so you can use that to peel it up. So I peel it up and move it, and I put the tape right above where I'm working. So I am working on the row right below that tape there. So everything below looks like what I'm working on, looks like what I've done, and this is what I haven't done yet. So there you go. Yes, Marcia has a lot of these stitch markers too. Okay, these are brand new. We have avocados. Oh, yes. Peggy says use the sewing machine. Yes, there is. That is one of the options in there. We will be discussing these together with all of you as they come together. These are the leaves that I'm working on. Because yes, if you've noticed, I like to match my stitch stoppers to my project. My favorite is still this, to put the long needles in, but in both situations I'm using small circumferences, and so that's not going to work. So out come the stitch stoppers. These are the foxes, and this is the fox tail. So we have 2 foxes because you can never have too many foxes. If yarn came from a fox, we might have a different name, but here we go. These are oranges. I love the oranges. These are the deer. Aren't they cute? The sunflowers that I have on my orange sweater just make me happy. And then we have some alpacas also. Oh, there's some penguins, but I didn't bring those over. Oh, here they are. Little penguins. Okay, and are you ready for these? Look at these super cuties. Little sloths or koalas. Not quite sure. I think you could say go either way. But what I love about most of these, like this one here, it's on either side. Isn't that spiffy? So we got some of those stitch stoppers in, and we're really stocking up. We got our t-shirt restock in just in time to celebrate 8 years. So we've got those reordered, and that's what I'm wearing. And this is also, like I mentioned before, the Wonder Woman, because I feel a little bit like a Wonder Woman because of all of you. And because of Sarah celebrating with us from Florida, she's on Satellite Beach and she was thankfully spared. Just had a little bit of damage because of the hurricane, but our hearts are definitely with them. And so we're going to be donating again through because of Sarah's pop up today to the Red Cross Hurricane Ian. Again, you guys helped us make a generous donation last Saturday, and we're going to continue that again this Saturday because we're so grateful that Sarah was still able to come, that the hurricane spared her area for the most part, but there's a lot of people that it did not spare. So that's what I got going on today, and we will put some photos up as soon as we can of the pop-up shop so that you guys can partake of it too. And thanks so much for watching us. We will see you. You can also text us at 229-236-GOAT, and Melissa and Jennifer and I will be here to serve you.